Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. This is episode number 147 for December the 28th, 2028. Excuse me, frog in throat, coffee in mouth. Okay, so what do I want to show you today? And I have to, if you hear a little bit of squeaky noises in the background, that's the 3D printers. I've got them all running, again, as usual. Doing a couple of really big print jobs that are taking like a couple of days for each one to complete. But anyways, back on topic. So what have I been working on? Well, let me show you this beauty, pun intended. Yes, I have created a New York beauty. This is a wall hanging size, and I'm really thrilled with it. It was made with scraps, batik scraps. And you can see the quilting on here. I've gotten so much better at my free motion quilting, haven't I? And feathers are perfection. Yeah, no, I wish. No, that is not me. The quilt is me. I made this, but I made it not in the traditional style or using the traditional technique of paper piecing for this. I did this in the hoop on my embroidery machine. I found a file for this online, and I bought it. It wasn't that expensive. I think it was on a site called All Stitches, secrets of /allstitches.com, something like that. And I took a chance on it because I'd never bought from that company before. And it turned out great. Very easy to do, very easy to follow the instructions. And like I said, the embroidery machine did all of the embroidery on each of the pieces. Now you make this in small squares. So each square that I'm showing you here, there are 4 to make this complete circle, but each square is 8 by 8 inches. And then there's 3 different designs. And you can see here, this is one design, and I'm talking about the quilting. If we come in a little bit closer, I can show you. So this particular one is sort of straight lines with some scallops. And then a second one is this one down here with the feathers and the little round circles. I don't know if those are supposed to be bubbles or what. And then up here, there is just straight lines with this little hatch pattern going on and some concentric lines as well. And you can lay these out in any way you want. You can make as many as you want. This wall hanging measures 32 inches square, and I use 16 8 by 8 squares to create this. But you can put them in any layout you like, and you can get some really interesting effects. Did it take a long time to do? Well, it depends on how you look at a long time. Each one of these squares took probably 30 to 40 minutes to complete, maybe slightly longer. And so you've got 16, so do the math. Then I added a couple of borders to it, and it is bound now. And actually, if you just give me a second, this is not the picture I actually wanted to show you. This was when I finished the top, but I want to show you what it looks like when it's completely finished. So I'm just going to grab that picture for you. And here's a picture of what the completed quilt looks like. As I said, it's not really a quilt, it is a wall hanging. And that is where it's going to hang as well. After I take down the Christmas decoration that happens to be on that door, it'll fit on that spot pretty good. And I did the overall binding on this in a light color of batik. And the back has the same fabric that's here in the border piece. And I did do some additional quilting, but not much. I just did stitch in the ditch around each one of these squares in a very light colored thread because I didn't really want that to show up. And that's just to anchor everything, the layers together. And then I did some simple wavy line walking foot quilting in the border. So I'm very pleased with the way this project turned out. I love the colors in it. Again, it's kind of scrappy because I just reached into my scrap pile of batiks, and that's what I used for this. So yeah, I might make another one someday, but much bigger. Maybe I'll try my hand at making one using the more traditional paper foundation piecing method. But for now, this has really done a great job, and I'm very, very proud of it. So that's what I spent, oh, over the Christmas time doing, sort of. And what else? Well, I have picked up some fabrics from Ultimate Sewing. Now, I bought more Christmas fabrics, and I didn't really, well, I didn't need more Christmas fabrics. I mean, I don't know about you, but as far as Christmas projects are concerned, I'm a little Christmas project out, considering the number of things that I did make this year and gave away. And I started Christmas in about September or August even. I'm making some of those projects. So I'm a little Christmased out now, and I'm looking forward to some new projects in the new year, which I'm going to start probably today or tomorrow. I'm going to start planning those things out. Well, when I say planning, do I really plan? Yes and no. I make lists. Those are my plans, okay? And I do deviate from my lists, but that's okay. You know, a new project comes along that I hadn't seen before, and I suddenly go, ooh, I'm bored with the one I'm working on now. I want to work on that one. And that's how you create UFOs, right? And on my list are a couple of UFOs to get finished. I just need to quilt them, that's all. And I'm thinking this week I should throw one of those on Lucy and get at it. But anyways, I'm digressing as usual. So, Ultimate Sewing, just before Christmas Day, had a sale on Christmas fabrics. I think it was 35% off. Well, couldn't really resist that. So into the store I went, and I picked up some of these fabrics. And I'm going to show those to you here. And here are the Christmas fabrics that I bought. I bought 2 meters of each of these fabrics. And there wasn't a lot left to choose from. I thought this one was kind of unusual and pretty. I don't have anything like that in my stash. And this is the same one, but in a lighter colorway. And it's always good to have a, you know, Christmassy, in traditional colors, kind of fabric that you can use, you know, as a filler or as a blender or as background. This one's a classic. This one's been around for years, but I like it, and it's great for fussy cutting or applique. And then another sort of neutral but Christmassy fabric that can be used as a background. This one right here, and I didn't open it up, is actually a panel. And this year I kind of got into panels a little bit more, because panels are great for doing a very quick quilted project that you might want to give as a gift. And I did do a couple of Christmas panels this year. And now with having the long arm, it's really fast and easy. And, you know, you can get fairly intricate into the quilting that you do on something like a panel. So I picked that up as well. So yeah, now I think I am done buying Christmas fabrics right now for 2021. But who knows? There's always 2022, isn't there? And I do love Christmas fabrics. So what else have I been making or working towards? Okay, I did make a well, a 3D print. You know how I love my pin cushions, right? So I got looking through where I look for different interesting things I can 3D print, and I found one of a running shoe, and I thought this was kind of fun. So here it is. It is a running shoe. I was trying out some new really bright colored filament for this. And just as an aside, because I talked about this on my vlog yesterday, these new filaments I bought from a couple of companies that I've never dealt with before. I do not like those filaments, and if you're into 3D printing, you might want to hear more about those, so just go to this week's vlog. But anyways, I made this, put the little pincushion part in it, and it sits beside my sewing machine now, and I think it's really quite cute. Make a great gift for a male sewer or quilter, I think, because, you know, it's practical and it's got a bit of a masculine quality to it. But I just think it's fun, and I'm all into these 3D printed pin cushions, as you know, and I'm always looking for things that I think will potentially make very unique and unusual pin cushions. So I've done that, and I bought something new as well. Now, you've heard the story about my order for Martelli, company based in Florida. Most people have heard of them. They make a lot of decent products, good products, actually. Nothing to complain about them. Anything I've ever gotten that Martelli provides or makes have always been high quality. For example, their rotary cutters that are ergonomically, proper for your hands and everything. I do have to admit, though, although I have the 60 millimeter and the 45 millimeter of those, I do not use them. Not because I dislike them. It's just that I'm really used to my Olfa, and I like it a lot. And it's the one I reach for all the time. I probably should try to get into the habit more of using the Martelli ones since I own them. But I haven't. The other thing, too, what I ordered from Martelli was one of their rulers. And I'm going to put that up here on the screen for you. It's in the package. It's a strip ruler, 24-inch. Now, I saw a presentation by them done on our retreat that we had for the Quilter's Way a month or so ago. More than a month ago now. How time flies when you're having fun. And Martelli was showing their products. Now, everybody that has one of these rulers just has an orgasm over it. They will not slip, they claim. They have really good stuff on the back of it that grips your fabric and allows you to really cut precisely to, your strips. Now, I cut a lot of 2.5-inch strips. Well, I use them for binding, and I use them for borders, and I use them for all kinds of things. And I do have a Stripology ruler, and you have seen one of my previous episodes of the Idiot Quilter, my discussion of that particular ruler, and I do love it. But it does have its drawbacks, and because it has slits in fairly thin acrylic plastic, they can, if you're not careful, bend a little bit, and you can get a wow in your strip. This is a very solid piece. And you can see it's got a lot of markings on it. Actually, I find the markings, they're fairly easy to read once you study it for a moment or two. Up here in the corner, you can see. But it'll cut 1 and 5-inch strips, 2.5, 2 1/4, 3. I think 3 is 3.5 in there. I don't know. And up to, I think, 4 inches. Might be a little bit more than that. And there's markings down here, and these markings are not exactly the same as up here. So yeah, and the reason I also bought it was because I wanted to cut some 2 1/4-inch strips. Somebody told me that they really preferred using 2 1/4-inch strips for binding instead of 2.5-inch strips. And I have tried this now, and yeah, I mean, for me, I don't mind the 2.5-inch strips. They work fine with me. And of course, I didn't have anything until now where I could cut 2 1/4-inch strips conveniently. And what I mean by that is, rather than just lining up a ruler with my cutting mat and doing it that way, I wanted something that already had a pre-cut slit, like in a Stripology ruler for that. I have learned since that Stripology ruler you can use to cut 2 1/4 inches. I was an idiot. A couple of people pointed out why I was an idiot with that and told me what to do. And I thank both of those people for it. And that discussion is in the previous episode as well. But anyways, this finally came, and I've tried it. And yes, it does grip your fabric. Your fabric does not move. Does not move. So it's really great for that. The only hesitation I have about recommending a Martelli product to you is if you're Canadian trying to get it. We had problems, and this is not the first time I've had problems with Martelli. They seem to have a real issue with trying to get something here to Canada, and I don't understand why that is. But it did take a while to get this, and because somebody didn't fill out the paperwork correctly, and I do suspect it was Martelli didn't. 2 boxes came up. I went in with another person from the Quilter's Way. She was getting a large order, and she said, well, with shipping and costs, why don't you just have them throw your ruler in with my stuff, and we can go from there. I have to admit I don't like doing that, because this person does it, very nice of her to offer and everything like that, and she's a lovely person, but she doesn't live in my town, and so there was a question of how to get the ruler once it came, but she comes to my town on a regular basis. Her daughter lives in the next town over. So, okay, I went ahead and did that. But that wasn't the problem that I had. The problem we had was the whole shipment came up in 2 boxes. One box she got. The other box, which was being delivered by UPS, did not get to her. She called UPS and they say, well, it didn't have a label. They're sending it back or something. There was some form of identification or something that that box did not have on it according to UPS, and they sent it back to Martelli. And then Martelli got it, and they had to figure out why we didn't get it, and finally we did get it. But you want to know something? This isn't the first time I've had this problem with Martelli. Maybe it's just me. I know there are people who are going to get up on their box and they're just going to slash my throat for these things I'm saying about Martelli. I am not saying anything about Martelli in terms of their products. I have been pleased with their products, and I know many people are. Customer service, I have to say, is a little, I don't know how to put this. When you talk to their customer service, they're very, very gung-ho. They're very nice. They're very friendly. They make you feel like you're the most important person in the world and that they will jump through flaming hoops for you. And I'm sure they do. But sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men. And it just reeks to me a little bit of the used car salesman approach. Am I being a little harsh? Yeah, I am. But I'm telling you that getting this here was not really an easy thing. So in the future, if there's a Martelli product I want, they have a lot of their products on Amazon and on Amazon.ca as well as Amazon.com. So I think I'll look there first and try and get it from them. Also, there's other places online that sell Martelli products. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to go directly through Martelli. And, you know, like, I think, I'm not sure, I've not looked that far, but I think someplace like Missouri Star Quilt might sell Martelli products. So, you know, I might check that out as well. And if I need something that is a Martelli product. Now, here's another thing. I did talk to one of the Martellis when I first ordered this ruler and everything, and he said to me, do you want to also order one of the Martelli cutters, which I've already mentioned before? And I said, no, I own those. He says, oh, good. He says, because these cutting boards will only work with a Martelli cutter. Bullshit. I haven't used the Martelli cutter with this one. I've used my Olfa. It works fine. There is no problem. So I don't know what that's all about. And that, I go back to the comment I made about the used car salesman thing. Why would he tell me that? If a regular rotary cutter will work with this, and it does, I've done it, I've used it, no problems. Why is he trying to sell me one of their cutters? Well, because they're salespeople. It's their business. That's my impression, okay? So, you know, you may have dealt with them before and you've had a lovely experience. I didn't have a bad experience, okay? It wasn't horrible. I wasn't in any rush for the ruler. I just don't like inefficiency. That's just me, okay? And very nice when I called them about things. You know, customer service is good. But, you know, this little thing about you need to use a Martelli cutter to use this strip ruler. No. No, as I told you. So, anyways, if you've had great experiences, you love them, great. That's fine. Whatever works for you. Okay, moving on. So, Christmas gifts from Walter. Yes, Santa. Santa was very good to me this year. Santa bought me a huge amount of fabulous fabrics. So much that I needed to make a video about this. And I'm going to show you my haul that Walter so generously bought for me. Okay, so I thought I'd show you what Santa brought me this year, aka Walter. And he outdid himself. On my table right here is a pile of fabric that he bought me. So I'm going to show you what he bought me. And yeah, you're just going to be green with envy. And I need to find patterns that will be worthy of all this. So let's start with some of these larger ones. wide back fabric. This is 108 inches by 108 inches, or 3 meters approximately, or 3 yards, which is what I usually use for backing on my quilts. So I have 1, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So approximately 6 quilts worth of backing fabric, depending on the size of the quilt, of course, but these will do about a queen size each. So, and my quilts tend to be slightly under the size of a queen size in most cases. So lots of backing fabric. I shouldn't run out too soon with that. And by the way, I think he got these from Missouri Star Quilt Company. He said they were a really good price. And he also said something I did not know, is that Missouri Star Quilt charges the tax and the duty on their products when it comes across the border right at the moment when you check out. So there's no delay, and they sent it by FedEx, and it came in. It took them about a week to get his order together, because he got more than just this, as you're going to see in a moment. But took him about a week to put it all together, and it took only about 2 days for it to get shipped to us. So that's pretty good. That's a far cry from the way it was a couple of years ago when I ordered from them. So I'm thinking now, maybe I should be ordering more stuff from Missouri Star Quilt Company, even though they're American and it's not Canadian, and I like to support my Canadian stores, which I will continue to do so. But anyway, so that was just some of it. Then he got me from the Fat Quarter Shop. Oops, I'm dropping it on the floor. He got me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these Fat Quarter bundles. I think there's 12 in each bundle. This is by Tim Holtz. This is a new fabric by Tim Holtz, and he got me 2 packages of those. So I've got 24 Fat Quarters of the Tim Holtz. This is Niagara Prisma Dyes Batiks, and so batiks, again, 12 fat quarters in a package. Another batik, fat quarters, 12 of them. And something called Platinum Prism Dyes Batiks. Again, these came from the Fat Quarter Shop, which he said was the prices were really good. However, shipping took a while, and duties weren't as good as Missouri Star Quilt for that. I think there were a few freebies thrown in with the Fat Quarter order. There was this Kimberbell Maywood Studios charm pack. Nice little colors there. And then they had a whole bunch of other stuff that they threw in too. They threw in some pins. These are applique pins. Package of those. There's a project bag as well, which that always comes in handy. They also threw in this little thing. Looks like a coaster, but it's not. I think what it is, it's called Sew on the Go Sewing Machine Handle Wrap. So yeah, it's for your sewing machine. You know, when you're carrying it around, I guess you can put it around the handle. I don't know if I'll use that or not, but it was free. And a set of these greeting cards, set of 12 by Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. So yeah, they have little cards with envelopes. So you know, you can always use a few of those, right? But those were all freebies that came with the order. And from Missouri Star Quilt, got a couple of freebies too. They threw in this little tiny cutting mat, which, I have a bunch of these anyway, so I don't use them, but it's okay, it's free. And then this template. And this is a, what do they call this one? It's hard to read it. It's the Simple Wedge. So that's all right as well. It is clear, but there's some plastic, or not plastic, there's some cardboard or paper on the back of this. It's yellow in color, but when you get this off, if I can get it off. Okay, a little tricky. Here we go. So there we go. So that's a little what? small 60-degree triangle, I guess. You have to look up on their site and see what they use it for, what patterns this might go with. So those were freebies along with it. He didn't keep the freebies for himself. He gave them to me. Okay, so that's some of the stuff. He also got this fat quarter, or not fat quarter, this charm pack. A little bit more subtle, more elegant looking types of fabrics in here. They might actually be, yeah, they're reproductions. Maria's Sky, 1840 to 1860. So these are sort of Civil War reproduction fabrics, which are nice. And then he got me more. These came from Missouri Star Quilt, I think, as well. These are Robert Kaufman. It's a fat quarter bundle. I don't know if you can see the different colors that are in here. I think there are there 20? There are 24 pieces. So that's pretty good. Those are nice colors that are in there. And then another one, this is Cape Facet. It's a fat quarter bundle, 20 pieces. And these are Cape Facet's collections from August of 2021, so relatively new. And they're what he called his darks in here. And then he got me another Island Batik strip set, 2.5-inch strips, 40 pieces. And I've had Island Batiks before, and I love Island Batiks. So this is called Peacock Plumes. So some really nice colors in there. And then he got me 1, 2, 3, 4 jelly rolls. This is another Cape Facet. I love Cape Facet fabrics. So we got this. This is the Prism, we call them. Nice colors in there, bright colors. This one is Christine Marquez Venice collection. Very nice. They look like they're batiks as well. I think they might not be batiks. Don't know. It's by Robert Kaufman anyway, so I don't like to open them. They're so pretty. But I will have to eventually. Now this is from K Facet's newest collection. These are the oh no, this is Contrast. It's called Contrast. It's a little bit darker ones. It's a fairly new collection of his, I think. There's some pinks and things in it. Walter wasn't really sure if I would go for that, but you want to know something? Think outside the box, because it's fabric, and I'm sure I can find something that I will make with that. And this one is another K Facet. This is the August 2021 dark. The darks, which are very lovely as well. So that's all the fabric there, but there's more. And this is the piece de resistance. This is the complete collection by Paula Nettlestern, poured color. Now, ironically, I saw this on another website when I was just hunting through, or one of the quilt stores online that I was reviewing, and I thought to myself at the time, wow, I should get some of those. They're really pretty. Well, I don't need to, because look what I've got. The entire collection, fat quarters. There are 80 fat quarters in this box. Yeah, 80. So, Santa was very, very good to me, was he not? AKA Walter as well. And I just love it. I want to roll around in my fabric. Now I have a big job in front of me. I need to plan my next year's projects, and I have several already in my planner. But now I'm going to go through my patterns and decide which patterns are worthy of these fabrics as well. And I got to find a place to put them. That's a happy problem. That really is. So they're going to look good on my shelves right behind me. All this fabric. So I'm well set up for the next year. possibly longer, with fabrics. I guess I'll have to make sure I shop my stash on a regular basis. So I thought you'd like to know that, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Okay, so that takes me to the part of my episode where I usually like to talk a little bit about or show you a product that I use and how I use it, or a technique or something like that. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about project planning. Now, I've already shown you this book before by Sherry McConnell from A Quilting Life. It's her planner, and it's fine. It's great. I have started to use it, and I haven't used it extensively. And in fact, she's going to have a series of videos on her YouTube channel. I think she's doing one the first Monday of every month where she'll talk about how to use this. And I'm looking forward to seeing how she suggests you should use this. But the point I want to talk about right now is planning, project planning. We are a couple of days away from New Year's Day. And for everybody, New Year's, new life, new plans, resolutions, you know, you get all fired up about what you're going to do over the next year. That lasts for about 2 days, and then you're back to the regular routine. At least I am. I am not a resolution maker, but I am a planner, as I've already mentioned, more of a lister than anything. And I thought one of these might be helpful in that way. For that, we'll see if I stick to this or not. To be honest, I already know I won't stick to this. This will just be used to record projects for this year that I've worked on and that kind of thing. And I have another planner that I created myself that works for me. It's just a blank, small little notebook, and I have it sectioned off, sort of like a bullet journal. And that's where I keep a lot of my information. And I probably won't abandon that for this other one. But what I want to talk about a little bit is planning, or how I go about it. Well, first of all, I see a new pattern on a YouTube channel, or I see it on, on the internet or something like that, and it catches my eye, so I go looking for it. Now, if it's free, bonus. But if I have to buy it, I will buy it. And I only buy them online. I download the PDF, and I store them on my computer. I do print them out, and I bought little bags that fit when you fold the pattern in half. That same kind of thing as when you buy a pattern in a store, the way it's set up. And I have a little basket, well, it's not so little, of all these different patterns, and there they sit. And one of the things I need to do in my planning is I need to go through some of those patterns, because I have forgotten what's in that basket. There are so many of them, and I've got to find a new way of organizing them a little better than they're organized now. But I digress from the planning that I want to talk about. So what I do is, and I've already started this, I sit down and I make a list of projects that I did not get to in the past year and that I want to get to. And I write those down. And actually I have them in this little planner book right now. I also go through and I look at any UFOs and put those down in my list. And if there's any techniques or special projects or things that I think I'd like to try, I write a list of those too. So I have these lists. Then I take these lists and I start to prioritize them. And I put numbers on. What do I want to work on first? What do I want to work on second? What do I want to work on third? Now, do I follow that order to the letter? No, because these lists are always being revised. And that's how I plan. I make lists about lists. I revise them. Because sometimes you look at a project that you think you're going to do, say, in January, and you just don't feel like it. You go to something else. And by the way, I don't put dates on any of these things. The only dates I use is when I've finished a project. Then I date that in my list. And I don't take, like, for example, in this planner, there are these blank pages, which I'm not absolutely sure how you're supposed to use these, but I think you write down, either you can use them in a variety of ways, I guess. You know, you can keep a list of your progress day by day, week by week, or use it to plan ahead, like by week or by month or something like that. Well, I never know how long a project's going to take me to do, so I don't do something like that. This is my hobby. And it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be stress-free. If I start putting self-imposed deadlines on myself for projects, then it becomes less fun because there's pressure. And I don't want pressure in my hobby. Now, of course, if I decide I'm making a quilt for somebody else for a special event, then yes, there is a date. There is a deadline that I need to meet for that. But generally speaking, I just work on it as I feel like it. Now, I usually feel like sewing every day. So I do. I sew something every day. And some people ask me, my God, how many projects have you produced the last year? Well, stay tuned for next week's episode because I think I'm going to do some just statistics about my progress in the past year. And they say, oh, you must be a really fast sewer. I'm not a fast sewer. I suppose I am a little bit. But it's just because I do it all the time. So that's why I get a lot of projects done. But it's not a race. You know, it's not a race. I mean, if I can do a quilt, you and I both work on a quilt and we do it at the same time, start at the same time, I might be finished before you are, you might be finished before I am, but that doesn't matter. It's not a race. Okay? Enjoy the journey. Because basically, when a project's done, I'm on to the next project because I'm done with that one now. It's the journey that I enjoy. So when it comes to doing all this kind of planning, I think planning is a good idea to keep you on track on things. Oh yeah, another thing I was going to mention, sort of jumping out of line here. So what do I do after I have my list of my projects? Well, I need to go through my fabric stash and I start pulling out the fabrics I want to use for that project. I shop my stash. And after this load of things that Walter got me for Christmas, yeah, I have a big stash to shop from. And I organize those projects into project boxes. Those 12 by 12 craft boxes you can get like at Michael's or Joann's. I use those and I put my fabric, my patterns, all the stuff that's related to that into that project case, label it, and I have an area here in my sewing room that it sits on. In fact, I'll move out of the way and you can see it. This rack right here has, it's a little empty at the moment because I'm getting caught up, but it's soon going to have more project boxes in it. So that's basically how I plan. Some people get more sophisticated, but what I was going to say is these are great if they help organize your life and you want to use them. I have nothing against them whatsoever. However, you're not married to this. Don't let this become your gatekeeper. Okay? Remember, this is supposed to be fun. If this idea, this kind of detailed planning gives you stress, don't use it. Find something that doesn't give you that kind of stress. And everybody has their own method for it. So I just thought I'd share that with you. That's how I plan for the coming year of quilting. And we see how that all works out by the end. But it's not a race. I'm not in a competition here. I do it for fun. And if something stops being fun, I stop doing it. And I'm having too much fun quilting to do that. Okay, so let's move on to Subscriber's Quilt of the Week. This is from a regular subscriber, a regular viewer here. We've seen some of her lovely work before. And this is Wendy Kinjan and her lovely quilt. So I'm going to put that in here. This week's subscriber's quilt comes from Wendy Kidgen, and we have seen many of Wendy's creations before, and this is another one. And this one is featuring hexagons, so hexies. And she says, these hexagons were sewed by hand and then sewed together on a sewing machine. The centers of the hexagons are all the same. The backs are all different, shades of blue without a pattern. So it is quite spectacular, and it's a lot of work to create something like this size. Now, you can see in this picture that we have a little bit of the back. So if we back up a bit here, this is the back of the quilt, I'm assuming. And it's very, very interesting. And I'm just trying to look at the edges of these hexies. And I guess that's just the fabric folded over. And she did say that it's all sewn by hand, and there are quite a few hexes here. So this must have taken quite some time for Wendy to complete. It is very, very lovely though. And of course it's in my favorite color, the blues. So you can't go wrong there as far as I'm concerned. So very nice work, Wendy. Very lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And that takes me to YouTube channel of the week. And this is a public broadcasting. It's PBS Wisconsin, their YouTube channel. And they have a lot of different programs on that channel, as you know, most of those kind of channels, PBS, public broadcasting systems, do have. They have a lot of documentaries on a variety of topics. But one thing that caught my eye about this particular YouTube channel is that they had recordings, videos, documentaries about quilts and quilting. And so I thought I would share that with you. This week's YouTube channel of the week is one from a PBS station. It's called PBS Wisconsin, and you know PBS is public broadcasting stations, and these are often free television. But BPP, okay, rented lips. BPS are now showing up on YouTube, possibly because people are doing more streaming than subscribing to cable television. And in this list, there are all kinds of interesting shows, but what I want to focus on are the ones that deal with quilting, because they do have quite a few of these. And if we go down the list, we can see here, A Century of Quilts, America in Cloth. They have other videos, and this is a playlist, so that has 5 videos in it. Another one called Quilt Expo Exhibitor Stores, Quilt Expo, The Art of Quilting, Quilt Expo, Wisconsin Quilts. And if we go down a little further, I believe there's even a few more in here. Quilt Expo, 17 videos. So there's quite a bit in this YouTube channel that has to do with quilting. Plus, you might discover some other things you're interested in as well. So definitely check out PBS I can't say that. PBS Wisconsin. And so that takes me to what's on my vision board. And actually, this is a book. So it's not actually hanging on my vision board. It's on my bookshelf. And it's a book by another very popular YouTube channel creator for quilting and sewing, Laura Coia. She's Canadian. She lives in Niagara Falls, Ontario, only a couple hours away from me. I watch Laura, as many do, on a regular basis, her YouTube channel. And she came out with a book about a year ago called So Very Easy Quilt Favorites. And I bought that book. And she's kindly autographed it for me as well. Ooh. And I went through the book and I marked a few pages as to quilts that I wanted to do from it. And then I promptly put the book back on the bookshelf and haven't looked at it since. So I dug it out the other day. And I did find a pattern in it that I have added to my list of projects in the next year that I want to do. But I thought I would talk a little bit more about her book because she's got a second one that I've just pre-ordered, and because I like the first one so much. This week's pattern for my vision board is actually a book as opposed to a pattern, but it is a book with patterns, and this is by a Canadian, very popular YouTube creator, Laura Coia, from Niagara Falls, Ontario. And this is her first book that I'm showing you right here, So Very Easy Quilt Favorites. Now, I bought this about a year ago, and I leafed through it, and I found several projects that I want to do from it, and then I put it on my bookshelf and promptly forgot all about it. And I'm just looking through it right now, and there's one called Jelly Roll Race Made Modern, which looks really good. And there's a bunch of other ones in here, and the beauty about these patterns are that, as she calls it, 12 skill building projects. However, they're all fairly easy and very look like very fast quilts to make. Now, as you go through the book, they do increase in complexity, but nothing is beyond that of a beginner or an advanced beginner. I liked this book so much that I have also ordered or pre-ordered her next book, which doesn't come out until sometime near the end of January, as it says here on Amazon. This title will be released on January the 25th, 2022. So I have pre-ordered it, and it's called Patternless Sewing. And this one looks really interesting. She did talk about this book on her YouTube channel, so if you're interested in finding out more details about it, I would just do a search for Laura Coia, C-O-I-A, on YouTube, and you'll find her channel, and you'll find the video where she talks about this new book. So I'm kind of excited about getting that when it comes out, because Laura has a very easy manner in her videos, and that translates very much into her patterns and her explanations for different techniques and skills as well. She's a very good teacher. So that's what's on my vision board for 2022, and I hope to get on with some of those projects as well. And this is the section of the episode where I would usually do a preview of an interview that I have done on the Idiot Quilter Presents, but I'm run out of interviews again. You know the drill. If I have not interviewed you, it's your turn. Send me a request to be interviewed on to my email in the show notes, and I will get back to you and we'll set it up, and I want to. Okay, simple as that. Am I begging? Not really. Yes, I am. Okay, I want to do more, because otherwise, is this a threat? Could be. Depends how you look at it. Otherwise, I will fill that spot with one of my little rants, what I call musings, which you might call rant. So, what's this one this week? Well, I'm going to talk about me, of course. Is there any other topic? Yeah, I'm going to talk about whether or not I'm a competitive person. Because quilting, you know, can make a lot of competition, can make you competitive. So I'm going to talk about that in the musings this week, so be sure to tune in, and I will have the link to that in the show notes. Okay, that takes me to one of my quilts that I want to critique, and this isn't much of a critique because I really like this project and it turned out really well, and it's a Christmas one. Okay, this is probably going to be my last review of a Christmas project or quilt for 2021. Time to get into some other things that I've made. But anyways, here it is. This week's quilt of my own that I'm going to critique is not actually a quilt, it's a Christmas table runner. And I finished this very recently, and I've already gifted it to one of my lady friends in my art journaling group who saw it when I posted it on Facebook and really wanted it. She also had asked me if I could make her a Christmas table runner, and so this is the one that I created. Now, this was a kit, and it came with the fabric and the instructions, and it was fairly simple to make, although it looks very, very complicated. And I'll just give you a little bit more of a close-up of the block designs. So you see it has a central block right here, which you fussy cut out of the Christmas fabric that was supplied. And then the other fabrics, you cut all the little sashing pieces and the cornerstones. Now, there were quite a few of these to cut, and it did take a little bit of time to do that. Now, as far as quilting is concerned, you can see I just basically put this on my domestic machine, and I did a combination of walking foot wavy lines, and I also did some machine embroidered design on the center blocks in here, which is basically a Christmas holly leaf design. So it was a combination of the two to complete this. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I almost didn't want to give it away, but I had promised it as a gift, so I did. But it turned out very nicely. Now, I thought there might be a problem with doing these corners with the binding because they're a little bit different than, they're not at 90-degree angles, they're at 45. But basically, you do the same thing on those as you would do on a 90-degree corner. So actually, it was very, very easy to do. So I think it was very pretty. I have another one that I made a year ago that I kind of forgot about until I got out my Christmas decorations. That was the same pattern, and it was a kit as well, and it came from the same place where I got this one. So This one I gave away, but I still have another one that I created just in different fabrics, but of the same design. And I have the pattern, so maybe next year I'll make another one. Maybe this time I won't bother with a kit. I'll just use my own fabrics. And that takes me to a review of another online quilting store. And this one is called Stitch by Stitch. And I believe they're out in the Red Deer, Alberta area of Canada. And here's my detailed review of Stitch by Stitch. This week's online quilt store is called Stitch by Stitch, and it's located in Kingston, Ontario. And this is one store that I actually have visited. They do have a brick and mortar store, and they also have the website. Now I have to say though, this is my first time going to their website. I love their store. They had a great selection. The staff were very, very friendly and accommodating, and I'm anticipating that their website is going to be of the same caliber. So this is their home page, as you can see, and they've got an announcement here that they're participating in a shop hop as well. And let's just go down a little bit further and see what's on here. So they have the Tulip Pink Premium Small Spool Thread Collection, which is right there up front for you. So we know they have Tulip Pink. They have Creative Grids, Quilting Cotton, Pre-Order Fabric, Kimberbell, for those of you that like to embroider. There's lots of that. And popular brands, and it looks like they deal with all the major ones. They also have a blog where they talk about various things, and it looks like they sell sewing machines as well. Okay, so that's our overview of the front page. Let's jump right into looking at their quilting cotton and see what their prices are like and what the selection is. So down here along the side, you can see they have a quick menu guide. And if we look under quilting cotton, they have 3,560 different designs to pick from. They have it in yardage, it looks like. Although here they're talking about how much per meter. So I'm glad that they put their prices in meters. But why they call this yardage, I don't know. I guess it's just the term that we use, isn't it? Because you don't hear people often saying meterage. They have pre-cuts, they have panels, they have batiks, wide backing, flannel, fashion fabric. So they do have a little bit of fabric for those who are sewists. Fabric remnants and kits. So let's just look down here at this first page and see what they have to offer. They have Kona, they have Maywood, quite a bit, and their prices look pretty reasonable. $18 per meter, but I don't know what this is. See, 18 cents. Oh, wait. You can buy it per centimeter? That is very unusual. A centimeter of fabric for 18 cents Canadian. Let's just click on one of these and just see how that works if you were to actually purchase something, because I've never seen that. Okay, so I guess, well, I don't know. This is very Okay, I have no idea why they express this in centimeters, because you can't buy a centimeter according to their setup. It looks like the minimum you can buy is a meter of fabric. But the price is okay, nevertheless. Okay, not really sure about that. So let's go back and let's look at something that's a little bit more popular, just to check this out. Okay, yardage here. All brands. All right, let's go into a brand that I know. Free Spirit. Let's go to Free Spirit and see what we have here. Okay. Now these are a little bit cheaper. They're $16 a meter. So I guess the prices are not all one price. again, they have this centimeter and meters. So again, that does not make a lot of sense to me why they're doing that. But nevertheless, the price is still good. And the selection looks pretty good as well in here. So that's all very good. Now, let's check out their pre-cuts. And I thought I saw that down here. No, maybe I didn't see it here, but you can see they've got quite a long list of all the major brand names. Pre-cuts, here we go. This is where I saw it. So let's check out the pre-cuts. And Maywood Studio, K Facet, prices. Yeah, prices look about standard. So yeah, and let's go to the next page and see how many of these things they actually have to choose from. It says up here there's 116 products. So yeah, I think that their selection is fairly impressive. Those look nice. Ooh. Okay, I'm shopping again. Stop doing that. Yeah, so I think there's quite a bit here to be that you can choose from. So what else under shopping? Well, boutiques, wide backing. What is the price on their wide backing? Just out of curiosity, I want to compare it to what I pay at Ultimate Sewing. Well, it varies depending on what you buy. There's $26 a meter, $34 a meter, $30 a meter. So yeah, it depends on what you're buying. So $26 to $32 a meter, it seems to be the price for wide backing, which again is definitely in the ballpark here. So what else under shopping? Well, kits. Let's see if they have much to... Okay, kits come up as a sale. So I'm anticipating they don't have maybe many to choose from, but who knows? And here we have them. Get that out of my way. 3. That's all they have for that. Oh, but wait, that's the sale ones. But here's another section here, kits. Okay, so I must have missed that. And here they have 38 products, it says. And they have patterns for bags. Yeah, I can't say as though any of this is really grabbing me, but that's not to say that there isn't something here for somebody else. That's kind of neat. Yeah, price-wise, well, you never know with kits, do you? Because kits do tend to be on the pricey side because you're getting all the fabric with them as well. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Nothing here is jumping out at me, but like I said, that's just me. Okay, now, what do they sell in sewing machines? Looks like they deal with Husqvarna. Okay, get this off of my screen here for a second. So Husqvarna machines, they have a financing plan for a machine. Admire 5000, that must be, I don't know who makes that. Is that a Husqvarna product or is that a company I've never heard of before? So yeah, it looks like they deal with Husqvarna machines. Now, I didn't notice notions, but I'm sure they have notions. There they are, notions. And it's probably pretty much the standard ones. And it looks like they probably deal in Aurifil thread. Yeah, Aurifil. Well, they do have Gutermann as well. Medley thread, oh, that's Aurifil. Oh, you can buy the thread charts. as well from them. And Aurifil's $14.95 a spool. So that's about the standard price. So, okay, that's good to know as well. So let's look for their shipping now. Let's see. They say up here, free shipping over $199 Canadian, but I wonder what it would cost you if you don't have $199. So do they have a... here we go. They have their shipping listed. They ship worldwide, so that's great for people who live outside of Canada. Orders will be shipped out within 3 business days. They send it out by Canada Post. They do have approximate transit times are follow. If it's local, it takes 2 days, regional up to 5 days, national 9 days. And for the States, orders over $139 Canadian is free shipping. Or is it? Shipments to the United States are sent via USPS, so that's United States Postal Service Priority, and UPS Parcel Select. Orders over $139 Canadian before tax and discounts qualify for free shipping. Okay. And yeah, so that's good. And they have all the other details here that you need to know about getting their products to you. So that's good. So overall, I am very impressed with this. Ideas. I didn't check that out. What did they have for ideas? The Quilted Coat Challenge. Clyde Bank Tote. So they have articles about all these various projects and things. And they also have what's information. This is probably just about the store itself. Ooh, do they have a picture? Oh, this is the retreat. Oh, they're having a retreat in 2022. Showing from a past retreat. When is their retreat? Because save the dates. Okay, what are the dates? Let's go to the article. I'm curious because with COVID and the situation we're in right now with it. Okay, I cannot continue reading the article because that link does not work. All right, a little glitch there. Oh, here's a picture of their store. It is a really nice shop, and it's quite large as well. As I said, I have been there before. And here's some more pictures of the inside of the store. So if you're in the Kingston area, it is worth checking it out. They have a really great selection of fabrics, and you've already seen an example of what they charge, which I think is very reasonable. So yeah, so overall, this I think is a fairly impressive online store. It's even more impressive if you go into the store. And so that's Stitch by Stitch in Kingston, Ontario. So you may want to check this out. So that brings us to the end of another episode of the Idiot Quilter, and I guess this will be the last episode for this year, for 2021, because next week, when I do my next Idiot Quilter, it will be 2022. And let's hope that 2022 is so much better than 2021 and 2020. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, but before I go, I just want to give you an advance notice. We're coming into January next week, and that means there'll be a Wednesday, because there's always several Wednesdays in a month, are there not? Prove me wrong. And on the first Wednesday of every month, you know what time it is. It's time for Craft and Chat. Yes, so Wednesday, January the 5th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have another session of our monthly Craft and Chat where you just come and do exactly what it says. Work on whatever you want to work on and chat if you wish to, or listen if you wish to, or not chat at all, up to you. We always have a good time. If you'd like to be on the personal mailing list for Craft and Chat, just send me your email address requesting that, and I will put you on the list. But I always put in all of my videos the week before, including this one, the Zoom link for that. So I hope to see you on January the 5th if you're able to. Come, have a good time. Don't be shy. You don't need to. We will not bite. It is a wonderful group of people. I'm just so happy that we've been doing this. And I guess I've been doing this now for, I think it's been a year. I think I started it first of last year. I have to look back and see with that. But anyways, yeah, that's this Wednesday coming, next Wednesday, January the 5th, 2022. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you have a great week. I hope you're using, if you have some downtime right now, between Christmas and New Year's, that you're, getting into your creative mojo and creating something for yourself. Because after all, you've probably done a lot of things for other people this Christmas season. So it's time to, do something for you. So make something beautiful for yourself. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. See you later. Bye-bye.